This is a 1968 Dodge Charger. At least that's what it says on the registration. But its name and iconic shape are only the beginning of the story. Although it looks like a Charger, almost everything about it has been changed, upgraded. The body is all carbon fiber right down to the floor. It's got a custom frame, a wider track, and a limited production Mopar Hellephant crate engine. It's a classic American muscle car that's also from the future. It's what you might call a hallucination.
I've had the opportunity to drive a variety of older cars, but I almost would say that this is not an older car at all.
The Hellucination Dodge Charger was built by SpeedKore, but it comes from the mind of Ralph Gilles, Chief Design Officer of global automaker Stellantis. Ralph was the design lead behind cars like the Chrysler 300 and the 5th gen Dodge Viper, and was the CEO of Chrysler's street and racing technology division, known as SRT. Ralph invited me to his place outside of Detroit to check out the Hellucination Charger up close and talk about what inspired him to build this car.
Ralph, it is an absolute honor to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too, Rob.
I'm a little overwhelmed, and in a good way. The ACR, or the Viper, that's something that, being from Detroit, I know you for, but I want to learn a little bit more about all these other unique cars.
This is where I keep my favorite things. You know, I grew up loving cars as a kid, and one of the ones that started off for me is the GTV. And the designer of this is Giugiaro, so he's one of probably the most famous designers of our time. And there's a lot of lines and proportions that we still use to this day. You know, the long hood, short deck, that wonderful Giugiaro shoulder, I call it, on the Challenger today. Then there's the Evo Lancia Delta. This is more the racing influence, so these were all-wheel drive with 225 horsepower turbo on won 5 rally championships. This was also a rally car, so a boss of mine when I interned in France had one and I fell in love with the way it drove. Then there's the Vipers. So this is the Gen 5 Viper, and this is a 2016 ACR. I think the first one off the line. And I took it right to the racetrack.
You started getting into actual project cars.
Yeah, I've always basically just been a bolt-on guy, and then I saw what Alphaholics was doing with these generations of Alphas. My favorite year of Alphas is the GT. This was my first real restomod, where I took a car I've loved, you know, the style of the Giugiaro design, but again, trying to make it drive as modern as possible while staying true to the historic shapes. And I love this car. This is one of those things, I will never sell it, you know, no one can ever buy it from me.
It's iconic.
And I built this thing in my living room. I was building the wiring harnesses and putting stuff together all over. It took a long time, but.
Oh, I learned a lot more about this car.
I had to bring in the reinforcements on this one. This required going to the professionals. So this is a Hellucination. It's a 1968 Charger, which is one of my original love affairs. I've always loved Mopar. I grew up watching TV shows where this car was a hero. It's a mixture of things I like about modern day cars, older cars, race cars. My whole life, basically, things that have really checked the boxes for me are all in this one build. It was literally a rusty barn find. We kept the cowl and SpeedKore did the rest and really started from scratch, custom chassis, and of course the all carbon fiber body built around one of 100 Hellephant engines.
And you were saying that it even has air conditioning and everything.
Yeah, sound system. It's got a crazy sound system and air conditioning. As a designer, I wanted the car to look like a sketch, actually go down the road as if it was a sketch that came alive, and that was the idea. The stance, they nailed the stance to get as low as possible. It's sketched after the famous turbines that were on General Lee.
You were saying that this is a carbon chassis.
Yeah, so this is the first one where they experimented with a tub. So the whole underfloor is kind of made like a supercar. You know, the entire tub is creating the transmission tunnel to allow the entire drivetrain to live way up inside the car, which has the side effect of making the car very stiff. It's a mind freak when you drive the car because it doesn't feel at all like what it looks like. It really drives like a racer.
Ralph, aside from being an iconic designer, is also somebody who is capable of appreciating what it takes to build a variety of the aspects of the car. So he not only wants to look good, he knows what a car should handle like, and that influences his decisions when he's creating vehicles. It shows. It shows fully. One of the things I never do on any of my cars is make the interior look good, and that is quite the opposite here. It's a work of art all by itself.
You're looking at an interior loosely inspired by the 68, so the dash is still pretty much the same layout as 68 with the 6 dials. I think they're iconic, the big gauges. We worked with Gabe Customs out of California. They did all the upholstery, so those parts were built in Milwaukee and then shipped to California a few times actually to get it right. And these are sport bucket Recaros, which is again part of a bit of the mind freak of the car.
Yeah.
You sit in there, you feel like you're in a race car. And the steering wheel, this was machined out of solid billet. The diameter of the steering wheel is the same diameter as the original wheel, so it feels very sporty, but also gives you that vintage hallucination. That's the whole point of it. You're hallucinating, right? So it's kind of like you're vibrating back and forth between the past and the future. The console is all 3D printed controls and dials that power the windows and the air conditioning. We didn't want a radio, so it's all Bluetooth audio. And of course, you can recognize that shifter out of the red eye. It's probably the only thing I'm not crazy about, because that's literally just coming out of one of our production cars. Yeah. The pedals are also 3D printed, sintered aluminum.
Until I got into building cars more advanced, I don't think people even could appreciate that pedal was man hours.
Yes.
It was just one thing. It's like, okay, I finally got the pedal done. And like even something as simple and subtle as the tack.
Fun story there, my daughter designed the tacks.
Did she?
Yeah, she designed the gauges and the Hellephant, which is very similar to the actual Hellephant that we put on our production car, but she stretched it to give it more velocity, so it's actually, the ears are pulled back by it.
That is cool.
So we had a lot of, maybe have a family project,
Yeah.
you know. She helped me pick the colors as well. And of course, I wanted to pop a color so that anodized orange sets off the seats and all the stitching throughout. And then the roll cage, which is an extremely critical part of the build. So that is totally functional. The cages go back to the suspension load points.
Okay.
It's also basically the integrity of the vehicle. Makes it much, much safer than an original car ever would be.
And they have it tucked.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you can't really see it's there.
Yeah. I didn't even realize it had a roll cage.
Yeah, and they did a nice job integrating it, but it literally is part of the body of the car and gives it the firmness.
I'd love to see the thing that powers this car.
Yeah, want to take a look?
Oh my God, that's a work of art.
Same reaction a lot of people have, you know? And I have it every time. Every time I open the hood, I just get reminded of how much blood, sweat, and tears went into this project. They made 100 Hellephant motors, the all aluminum 426 7-liter motor, so it's a full liter bigger than a red eye engine. And it's a number that a lot of Moparians respect, you know, the 426.
There's so many different things that your eyes can just fixate on, and like for me, it's as simple as like the headlight wires. I can't see those. Yeah. They're there.
As you know, car culture better than anyone. You know, the first thing that happens at car meets is people want to see the engine, right? So you open the hood, and SpeedKore took that into account as we did, thinking about that event, how to present the engine. One of my favorite cars is the Viper as well. So we made the hood open the same way the Gen 5 and Gen 1 and 2 Vipers open. So that's kind of cool. So that's a nice nod.
This already does not feel like what the car looks like.
Yeah, it's quiet. Like I wanted the exhaust. I mean, it's loud when you get on it, but it's not bad.
Which is like the right combo, because you don't want to like neuter it when it's under power, but you want it to be good while you're just cruising.
When I first drove it on the track, it was one thing, but we took it down to the power tour and we went through the Smoky Mountains in it, and it just felt smaller and tighter the more I drove it, the more confident I got, and all of a sudden I think we should take this to Tail the Dragon. You know,
you did the Dragon with this?
No, I wanted to.
Okay,
It's that much fun to drive. Like it has zero body lean. It does exactly what you expect it to do. You know.
Yeah, I'm expecting the whole like sway.
It doesn't. You know, it's like tight. The steering wheel just. You think about it and it just goes. You know.
Aside from the design of a car, what other aspects of the car like really feed your soul now?
What feeds my soul is when guys set up car clubs and stuff like that over a car you designed. When I go to Carlisle, I go to a meet and I see a clump of people together with all the M&M color Challengers, and they're all friends because of the car. Yeah. That's what inspires me. You know, it's like where it's not just a commodity. It's not just a to B device. It's something that defines who they are. It's something they express themselves with.
You're saying that the car was kind of built around the engine, and so that makes me wonder, what about the chassis? How did you adapt?
Yeah, it's got some great Detroit Speed gear that I'd love to show if you want to take a look at it.
I'd love to. That is not what I would have expected underneath a Charger.
Well, meet the underside of Hellucination. Very few people unfortunately get to see this. It's, to me, as impressive underneath as it is on top. Just the amount of craftsmanship and thoughtfulness that went into the layout. I really give those guys a lot of credit. This is a Detroit Speed setup. It's a double wishbone front suspension with the Penske shocks.
It's almost the downside to me of something being so well engineered like this that when you look at it, you forget that there are all these other things going on. Yeah. Because you're like, oh, well, that's easy. It's not easy. It's all, like, I wouldn't have even noticed it.
Yeah, when I first got it, I put on the hoist right away just to enjoy it. I was here for a long time, just appreciating every detail they put into it.
You know, it's at this point in my life, I've realized that it's not just about power. It's not just about handling. A car really is so many different systems all working together in harmony. You know, when you start, you have to pick something. You have to pick handling. You have to pick power. And so that you start with one, and then you end up, your dream is to end up with something like this. Nasty. What a nasty car. Oh my God.
Well, Rob, what do you think, man?
That's deceiving. That thing looks like one thing and drives like a completely different animal, but still has like your roots, the DNA of it.
Yeah, it's kind of mixing my favorite things, you know, track car, muscle car, you know, retro build. You get it. Obviously, you get it. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing I have learned is that cars often, when built this crazy, take on their owner's personality. And I know that when I felt a lot of personality in the car, and I feel like you know this car far more than I do. Obviously, the car is designed to do a lot of different things, and of course, road course is one of the more technical, complex ones, but I did notice where we are at right now.
Let's get pet.
Yeah. I will step away from the vehicle. I mean, oh my God.